So I just read an article about the Ferrari 48 Pista. The thing that caught my eye in this article was that people understand that the 48 Pista is a car that competes with the GT3 RS because Porsche's car is the more track-oriented car for the most part has been the GT3 RS. But people are mistaken when they compare the 48 Pista to the new GT3 RS with 520 horsepower. That's not the car it competes with at all. It competes with the GT2 RS, which is a twin turbocharged, track-oriented, track-focused car. More carbon fiber, more aggressive, more raw of a car. That's the same thing as the 48 Pista or Pista with whatever or however it's pronounced. So especially in the article, it was mentioned that it was competing against the GT3 RS. Oh, we are looking at the GT3 RS. This is how the Pista is better than the GT3 RS, and how these cars are in the same category. Ferrari didn't make that car to compete with the GT3 RS. Even if they say that they did, which they know that they didn't, that's not the car that competes with that. It competes with the GT2 RS. That's the car it competes with. Both cars are twin turbocharged. Both cars are track-oriented versions. Both cars have plenty of carbon fiber parts and panels and everything. So that's the GT3 RS is not the 48 or the Ferrari track-focused competitor right now. You're talking about GT2 RS, 48 Pista, the Lamborghini Performante. Those are the cars that are competing against each other. The thing I want to clear up is, and I am a Porsche fan, I am biased towards Porsche, so that's not a secret. I'm not going to deny that and say that I'm not. But the thing is that people always compare the Ferrari, the higher horsepower track-oriented car, with the less horsepower Porsche, and they say that the Ferrari is better and that it's a better car. It's not always that. It's not about horsepower. It's not about who has the most top speed. You're creating a track-focused car to compete on the track, meaning handling comes into play. Top speed, not always, but speed does come into play. How quick the car is around that specific track. How it behaves under high stress. How reliable the car is. These are the factors that contribute to what a track-focused car is. People forget that just because you have a high horsepower, amazing sounding car and that it's very expensive, that all of a sudden that's the best car. That's not the best car. You have to compare it against the competition, see how it stacks up against that competition, and see which car is better out of that group. Just because you're a fan of a certain brand doesn't mean that that's the car that's going to win. Obviously, you're biased. I'm a Porsche fan, so I'm going to be biased to the GT2 RS. But for the people that don't know, Ferrari doesn't make their track-focused cars, especially compared to Porsche, because they do compete with Porsche, whether you believe it or not. The gap that always separates them is the amount of horsepower that they have. They're never in the same range. People exactly the argument I'm saying now. People compare the GT3 RS with the 48 Pista, right? How much horsepower does the Pista have? 711. Okay. How much horsepower does the GT3 RS have? 520. So you're telling me there's a 200 horsepower difference, aside from the GT3 RS being naturally aspirated and the Pista being twin turbocharged. So in the torque figures, obviously the car with twin turbos is going to have more torque. And you're gonna tell me that's a fair comparison between two supercars? No, that's not a fair comparison. The fair comparison is the GT2 RS versus the 48 Pista. That's the real battle that's going on here. Those are the real track monsters that should be titled and paired together. Don't make the title GT3 RS versus 48 Pista. That's not a fair matchup at all. That people don't understand that. It goes Ferrari made this car, so it has to be the track-focused GT3 RS. No. There is another track-focused car in the Porsche lineup. It's called the GT2 RS. That's the car that Ferrari is secretly competing against, but in the media they display it as the GT3 RS killer because it has 200 horsepower advantage. Just because you have more horsepower doesn't mean that you're gonna be faster around the track. The car has to have grip. The car has to handle throughout the corners. It has to be reliable. And Porsche is no stranger to all of these facts. Ferrari is the one that has been very questionable in reliability, in behaving when the car exits a corner and enters a corner. The car is all over the place, which is no secret if you've ever read a review of Ferrari and other brands. But now we're talking about Porsche and Ferrari. Usually when people compare, more experienced people than me, because I don't have much experience any experience in driving sports cars on track and testing them to the limit, but the people who know and the magazines who are the big names comparing these cars, these are the people that see the pattern, the behavior, and they provide a feedback. If you read that feedback closely, the Porsche is always the car that behaves better in the corners, that has more grip, and is the, I don't want to say more fun car to drive, but that obviously depends on opinion and how people like their cars to handle. But you're talking about comparing to see which one is best. You can't let which car you like driving more be the factor that determines which car is best. No. You have to go by the numbers. You have to go by the lap times, the reliability, and the behavior of the car overall. So don't trick anybody, or don't get tricked by these titles that say, oh, 48 versus GT3 RS. It's not 48 Pista versus GT3 RS. It's 48 versus GT2 RS. The GT2 RS has 700 horsepower. I guarantee you it's going to be a very, very close competition than if you were to put the GT3 RS versus the 48 Pista, because there's a 200 horsepower difference and the twin turbocharged car. How does that make any sense to compete against the GT3 RS? It doesn't. So therefore, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, and if you have any opinions about it or any facts, maybe things that I didn't say in the video, or maybe things that I don't know, maybe you guys can leave a comment down below, and then we'll continue talking about this in the future. Other cars. If you like this video, let me know, that way I can make another review. Thank you and goodbye.